Say, man, you're in a privileged position right now. You're in a place to be. Matter of fact, a place to G with the one and only S&OOP. So what you gonna do now? Turn that shit up and let it bang.
Everybody that you fight is not your enemy.
Trenches.
And everybody that helps you is not
work
your
on your
friend.
free time. Nico trenches, we train
And
online
that's what
the
life
line. Getting sacks on quarterbacks, you know we live. When you check that 45, keep your nose on the inside. Better punch something, keep your feet moving, dog. My 3 trucks and 1 take they some real hard. My DN 6'5", he ain't got no flaws. Good grades, good feet, man, he got it all. I said crazy up, he'll snatch something. Real aggressive jump, said he tryna grab something. If the old don't shoot their hands, you better jab some. You better stab some.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why
From
don't
the
you take your
youth to
pants
the
off?
pros, we get it in.
My balls are hot.
If you ain't watching film, you ain't
I
trying to
understand.
win. If you close the beat gap, then you gotta spin. If you get around the edge, then you gotta bend. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. Where the lineman at? Where the lineman at? D tackle, do your dance. D ends, do your dance. Center, do your dance. Guard, do your dance. Tackle, do your dance. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at. I'm in the trenches where the lineman at.
Fucking bet against me. Bet against me. Tell me it's not gonna happen. Tell me it's gonna fail. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, TKB. We are back for another episode 41, Bush League Sports. I can't wait to get into it tonight. We're going to get into Jake Paul Tyson fight. I mean, that was scripted if I've ever seen a fight scripted. UFC 309, John Jones with his big return, gets a knockout win in the 3rd round, TKO victory. We're going to get into a little bit of hockey. I know Trav's going to join us a little bit later in the show, get into some Mites hockey, a few things going on in his kids' school program, and then touch on a little bit of NHL and then CFL. We just had a big Grey Cup win. The good old team that I said was there that wasn't, Montreal Alouettes. They weren't actually there. I said it last week. I'm an idiot. But the Toronto Argonauts take a big win, a very defensive-based win. But the Grey Cup, literally 5 minutes ago, just wrapped up. They're in the middle of the celebration right now. Big victory for 224 for the Toronto Argonauts, not the Montreal Alouettes. All right, we're Bushleague. We're allowed to screw up, right? But they are the Grey Cup champions, 2024, 111th Grey Cup. Congrats to the Montreal Alouettes. Big game. And then Arbuckle, too, starting his first playoff game versus Zach Collaros, who's, you know, a guy this is 16th start, I think, in the playoffs. 5th straight Grey Cup, the Winnipeg Bentu. They're the odds-on favorite, I think, to win today. And Toronto has put up a big fight. And like I say, big defensive game. It was tight all the way. And then the 4th quarter, just Toronto came out and really got it done. A couple interceptions, 1 pick six, another pick six right after, got tackled on 2-yard line. And, you know, just a hard-fought game. But in the end, Toronto kind of defensively got it done. And Collaros just pick machine at the end. So that ain't going to help the cause win nothing. We're also going to be ripping Parker's 2021 NHL cards. As always, we're going to rip a pack. We give it out to someone today. You know, different ways to get it. This week, you're going to get it by joining the Twitter space, giving your own little Bush League opinion. I'll post that up. You can join the Twitter at any point. Head over to Bush League Sports or Bush League Media and find the link over to that Twitter space. You can come give your own Bush League takes. But today, my buddy Trav Rehu, the man, Rahula. I should give out his last name, maybe. I don't know, but he's a beauty. He's going to take this home. So we'll open this at the end of the show, see what kind of beauty pulls we can get. We'll ship that out to him. You can be the lucky winner if you come next week. But I want to get into it. This week's Bush League Plays of the Week. Daniel Jones is on bye, so that makes it tough, right? Hard to pull a Bush League play when you got Daniel Jones on bye. He's just, you know, basically what we revolve that whole segment around out here. And if he's on bye, well, you're not going to get as many Bush League takes. We're going to Trav's coming up to stage. Maybe I'll razz him for a second too if he wants to. Oh, I've made him co-host. Look at him. He's a legend. He can do whatever he wants. But we're going to get into the Week 11 scores here in a second. But Trav, thanks for joining us. If you guys are here in the Twitter space, I'll put it up on the side. You can come join, give your own Bush League takes, and join me here and do it. Trav, what's going on? How you doing this evening?
Good, buddy. You?
Good, man. Good. I just got home from a little trip back home to the motherland. Rest in peace to my Guido. He passed away. So we had his funeral there this past weekend and went and spent some time with the family. We just got home. So ripping into the show. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, just relaxing. I had to work all weekend there. My condolences to you and your family, man. That's never an easy thing, but, you're going to work through it. I know you.
Yeah, it's just mostly. I hope Grandma Guido, but his wife does well, Baba. So that's just the biggest thing. Be there, support her, and be around for the family, right? But what was good or bad for you in fantasy this week? That's what I want to know. What went on in your world? You get any big wins, big losses? How's she shaking out?
So far, I just kind of looked at my lineup, and it's been not the greatest. Noticed Derrick Henry had a kind of a quiet week, and the Ravens, but the big Bronco went by. Big Broncos, bonus looking good.
Yeah, I know. I've benched Javonte Williams, and of course the boys show up today. So usually how it goes when I make a decision, it's usually wrong. That's why I call it Bushleague Sports. But yeah, it was a good game. Bo Nix is making a late push for maybe Rookie of the Year. Jaden Daniels kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. Bo Nix starting to come together. Still quite a few weeks left, so guess we'll see how that shakes out there.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that Tyson fight, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. I heard a lot of feedback saying, it was not a nice time to be watching that.
No, it was pretty boring, but yeah, we'll get into that a little bit when Trav pops in here in a little bit. But I want to get into this week's scores. I'm going to rip through them real quick here, give everybody the update on what went on today in the NFL. But Thursday's game, obviously, in the past, 26-18, Eagles, big win. Dolphins come in this morning. Finally, they haven't been looking good lately, 34-19 over the Raiders. And, nice to see them move the ball down the field. The Raiders aren't necessarily the biggest task this year, but we should go. Saints, Taysom Hill, I started him in the league because I had George Kittle go down. I wish I would have started him in more leagues. I think a lot of people end up starting him this week. Wow, 38, 40 points for him. So Taysom Hill, always that sneaky guy, but when there's the game script works in his favor, crazy. He's getting touchdowns, getting runs, getting catches. So nice to see that roll out of there. Browns take a defeat, even though Winston played a pretty good game. Saints with a big win. Colts 28-27 over the Jets. Just the skin of their teeth. The Jets, I think they need to get rid of Rodgers and move on. But it's great to see Anthony Richardson. He's been benched this year. Maybe not the best game last week. Comes in 3 tutties this week, 2 rushing tutties. So big game for him. Vikings 23-13. Jefferson, shows up, does his usual thing, but nothing too wild there. Packers 2019. Caleb Williams blows that game, and the Packers come in with a 2019 win. Jordan Love, really, he's going to be low in my rankings when we get into that a little later. I just still don't think he's that great, but he gets a lucky win because of what went on there. Lions, Jags, that we might end up queuing this segment early, but Lions versus the Jags. It was exactly what we thought it was going to be. That is this week's.
Say, man, the best part of waking up is not giving a fuck? Well, you do not. Rock with the Big Snoop DOWG, therefore mixtape, and this is for you. Yeah.
Bushleague Beatdown! Brought to you by Bam Bam Boxing. Check out the workouts today.
Well, that's the first look of the week. We're going to get into a few more maybe later when we get into UFC. But as always, check out Bam Bam Boxing, Bam Bam's Fitness. They got some of the best workouts in the game online. Do those from anywhere from home. I'll put up a link right up in the top corner. You can head over there, sign up. Hit me up. You get a free link if you hold one of our Bush League vending tokens. You already got a free membership. So make sure you go over, get that, get your ass fit. But the Bush League beatdown of the week so far, 52-6. If you listened to me last week, I told everybody it's going to be an absolute utter domination. So, I guess someone should be paying us for some of our takes because we were spot on there. Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery, maybe that's not a bold take that they were going to be top 5 because they've been continual suds, but they get it done. Amon-Ra St. Brown, exactly where I thought he was going to be. Jared Goff, I put him in top 5 last week, paid right off, but 52-6, you can basically start anyone, including the Lions defense. They did all right too, and you were going to have a big night. There was just over 400 yards for Goff today, 4 tutties, big game for him. So just an absolute domination. Rams 28-22 over the Patriots. Ravens take a loss to the Steelers. Lamar has never really done that great for Steelers for whatever reason, but 18-16, quiet game all around for the big dogs. I think Lamar will have a comeback next week. Seattle Seahawks 2017 over the 49ers. 38-6 for my boys, Bo Nix, and the whole Audric Esteem. Sean Payton, you get the whole world to bench Javonte Williams because they're like, oh, Audric Esteem is the man this week. And then Javonte Williams runs it down everybody's throat, and he's the man. I hate that coach. Bills, Chiefs, 30-21. Finally, someone shuts up this embarrassment, cheating-ass Chiefs team who's just been getting carried by the refs. Obviously, a big carry by the refs last week. This should have been a 14-9 win for the Broncos. They give a pass interference, get Kermit in the end zone again, and, of course, blocked field goal at the end. I mean, I was bitching last week it was offside. It wasn't. I reviewed the play. Well, it wasn't offside, but it still should have never got to that point. So, finally, the frauds get defeated. It is a 8-1 season now, and 9-1 season now, and I'm glad that they didn't go undefeated, but just because they didn't deserve it. That's really the big thing. I mean, all the cheating, all the missed calls, and when I say cheating, to me, I'm always referring to Patrick Mahomes pretending to go out of bounds and then running for a first down or doing whatever. Like they gotta find this guy. They gotta refine the passing, the roughing the passer rule. Like I've been saying, if you're near the sideline, fucking crush the guy. I give a shit. But man, right now, late night game, Chargers Bengals. Chargers are up 24-6. Joe Burrow not getting it done so far, but we're a little ways into the third quarter. Anything stand out in those games for you today, or did you get a chance to watch any of them, Trav?
Yeah, no, I didn't watch any of them there, but I'm just kind of watching this Chiefs game here and there. That's the Chiefs game, the Bengals game here. And yeah, Joe Burrow's not doing it. I got him in fantasy, and I was hoping T. Higgins and him, maybe Jamar Chase get another thing going, help me beat Beaner today, but I'm down lots, and it's not going to happen.
Good old Beaner. It's always nice when you take out Beaner, though, right? Nothing better, really.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping I'd give him a good beatdown this week myself, maybe get a little bit of a mention on the show, but
we should do that one week. When someone gives Beaner a lick, they should report it over. I'll make it the Bushleague beatdown of the week.
But I did, like you said, the Chiefs going down. Oh, that was just glorious. That Muppet Mahomes there. It felt good. It really did feel good.
Nice. And remember, anybody, if you're tuned in watching, you can come give your own Bushleague takes like Trav here. Just join the Twitter space and come hang out with the boys. We don't have a banner at the bottom, so I guess the bottom of this page will be empty today. But quick predictions. Trav isn't here, so I'm just going to give it. Or you know what? Trav, you want to replace the host Trav for a minute? You want to give your takes on these games or your predictions on these games with me next week?
I can try. I'm not going to say much. I haven't watched much football this year. I'm just kind of breezing by on a whim, but let's do it.
Okay, let's go. Steelers, Browns. So you got?
Going to have to go Steelers on that. Browns had a good game. Jerry Jeudy actually showed up today, which was amazing. I put him on the bench, of course.
Jeudy, I started him, so I'm stoked on that. I ran him this week. I started him in a few leagues. Some I had a choice, some I didn't, but he made the league this week for me. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh though too. I don't think that Cleveland's got what it takes to take them out, especially after they just took a big win versus the Baltimore Ravens. Titans, Texans. I'm going Texans on that. I don't think Titans are going to do much this year.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to stick with Cedars, Charles. Like they're getting healthier too now, so they're gonna be really good again, I guess, and just take another W.
Vikings, Bears. I'll go Vikings at the over this week on points. I think Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold can get her done and walk all over these Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with the Vikings on that too.
Cowboys, Commanders. That's a tough one. Remember, you guys come give your takes too. Just join the old Twitter space and come hang out. Shouts to Elmy, Trav, John, a few of the homies for hanging out. Good to see you, John. John's always DMing me. He's always DMing me his takes and his opinions, and I'm always giving him the gears. Like, boy, we got to get around the timeline here. I got like 4 friends that comment. We need to get 5. So we got to get her dipping. We want to pump our own bags, say. I don't know if John's watching or not. I know he's listening. Appreciate you, brother. You've been there since the start. Next game, Cowboys Commanders. Cowboys falling apart at the seams. CD Lamb. I know Tarav had mentioned that was something he wanted to talk about, so I'll touch on it now. But if you got CD Lamb in your fantasy lineup, it's looking like he may or may not be playing tomorrow. So in a situation like that, when that guy's questionable, he's such a stud. You really got to debate though. Like it's all circumstantial. So if you look at it, Cooper Rush being the quarterback, I'm really downgrading CD Lamb. So first off, do you have another absolute stud that you're maybe benching that you could play in place of him? That's what I would kind of look to do. Otherwise, you need to definitely try to, as early as you can, pick up someone like Kevontae Turpin, a guy that, or maybe one of the running backs or something, but a guy who you can replace because you got to plan for that early. You also can't wait to plan for it Monday, because if you lock your bench up with players on Sunday, then you're also absolutely screwed. So you got to kind of plan ahead when you got an injury like that going into Sunday. Maybe dump someone you might not need, or someone that's injured or whatever, and get a guy like Turpin. And also, just it's important too, I think, with the guy like CD Lamb on the questionable on a Monday nighter, just make sure if you can put him in the flex too, give you a little more flexibility. Worst case scenario, you're in a deeper league and maybe Turpin's not there or something, or you're playing against a jackass like me who's just gonna handcuff his opponent's players to try to screw him over. At least you give yourself a little more leeway. You could start a tight end or a running back or something in that position, but that's kind of the only way you're getting around CD Lamb this week. Patriots Dolphins. I think Dolphins, they're looking good. I think they'll get it this week, Trev.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Dolphins, too. They've been pretty good again now. Tua's back, and seems like he's got his head back, so.
Chiefs, Panthers, the frauds, I think, don't need, help to beat the Carolina Panthers. I think that'll be an easy one for them, so we'll give that one to Mahomes. I actually have Mahomes top 5 next week quarterback, just because he's got such a crappy opponent, and I think he'll be on the comeback after that loss. Bucks Giants. I'm going to give that one to the Bucks. Daniel Jones, he took a week off. Next week we'll get a couple Bush League plays out of him. The Bucks will make a comeback. Hopefully we see Mike Evans next week. He's been not 4 weeks been out, not playing, so hopefully he's back next week.
Yeah, Bucks on that one as well. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think, with that one too. Hopefully Baker Mayfield puts up a game.
Lions, Colts. Colts had a good game, but man, the Lions are just dominant. I'll never bet against the Lions. Don't care who they play. Lions get the win next week.
Yeah, I have to go with Lions on that. Jared Goff's been throwing pretty well perfect. Minus one game, he threw a few interceptions, but he's been spot on.
And then Broncos, Raiders. I'm going to have to give it to my boys in a divisional game. They'll be, looking to keep it rolling. They got that loss against the Chiefs where they should have won, but they're looking good with that win today. So I'm going to give it to my boys.
Gonna have to go with the blue and orange, yeah. The Broncos all the way, buddy.
The boys. Then a couple last games. Cardinals, Seahawks. That one will be a tighter game, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a big comeback week. You'll see it later in my rankings. Kyler Murray, Myron Harrison. It's going to be a week. They've had a couple off ones. They need to make some push. I think they're going to come out firing next week, and it's going to be a big week against that Seattle defense. It is just not what it used to be. Seattle defense used to be pretty feared, but not nowadays. I don't know if you're there, but 49ers, Packers, I'll roll on to that. 49ers, I think, get the dub against the Packers. We'll see Brock Purdy take that one home. And then Eagles, Rams, that's going to be a good game. That's a good Sunday nighter, actually. It's maybe not at the top of everybody's list, but I think we're going to get a great game. But I think the Rams are going to pull off. They're looking good with everybody healthy. Puka ripping again, and Cooper Kupp, TD, basically all the boys in the end zone, and so it should be good. And then Ravens, Chargers on Monday night. I think Lamar has a lot to prove after that kind of week game. It's going to be just Ravens all over him. Big game for Lamar. You still take home a little bit of cards later, Trav? We'll get into this pack a little later when the host Trav's in there. I don't know if you were along last week, but we ripped it. There was one cool, little shiny rookie card in there, so we'll see what we get.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked sweet. I've been actually looking into getting hockey cards again. I have a bunch from when I was younger, but it's always fun to get back into your childhood.
Yeah, no, for sure. Sports collectibles are kind of a big thing right now too. So who knows? Maybe I'll pull a card one day and someone will cash in from it. That'd be sweet. All right. Well, I'm going to get into my top 5 or my top picks for the week for predictions here. I'm going to pull up Sleepers. Sleepers where we host all our fantasy leagues here over Bushleague Sports. We do most of all our football and everything through that, and it's just a great platform. So I'm going to use that just to show you some of the big high-scoring guys this week and leave that up. Obviously, if you are, maybe you're playing on different fantasy app, looking for a change, I would say anytime Sleeper, greatest app. It's really, really good on mobile as well. Great application. But this week, like I said, at quarterback, a guy who didn't even start at quarterback, Taysom Hill, takes home the big points. Jared Goff, huge. Stafford, Nix, Winston. So I went 1 for 5 this week on quarterbacks that I gave you guys last week. Jared Goff finishing in the top 5, and Josh Allen just outside it. So, not as good as we hope, 1 for 5. Running back, we were locked in. Montgomery, Akane, Gibbs, Barkley. So, we did good there. We 3 for 5 on the running backs last week, but just pure domination by Barkley yet again. The guy's just a beast. And then top 5 wide rights of the week. Well, I had Puka in there this week. Last week we had Cooper Kupp. We had a few guys. Who else did we have? Let me take a quick peek here and see what we did, because I think we were dialed in last week. We gave you the sleeper DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't do all that great, but St. Brown is our top guy, and he was my top guy going into the week because of Jacksonville. So shouts to me for just being absolutely bang gone with that. And then this week, actually Puka Nacua is the number 4 guy, as we can see. Cooper Kupp number 2. I again had Cooper Kupp in there. I had A.J. Brown and Jamar Chase as well, and Deebo Samuel. I was hoping for a big comeback, so I was completely wrong on those. But 2 for 3, 2 for 5. We'll take her. Getting St. Brown and Kupp right at the top, just as we predicted. But now, this week, my top 5, a little bit different than what Sleeper's going to predict and give to everybody. But I am going with quarterback first. I think we should go quarterback first. You got anyone that's carrying your team this week or next week, Trav? Who's your main guy in our fantasy league?
I mean, I picked up Derrick Henry, and he's been absolute lights out. He's had 2 bad games. Bijan, he's kind of turned it up, but they both had quite a week this week.
I was amazed you had both those guys at running back. That's a good stack to have pulled out of the draft. Bijan and Derrick Henry, probably the 2 best, even though Bijan hasn't been fully ripping. But I was talking more quarterback. Who's your quarterback? That's who I was wondering. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm rocking Joe Burrow, but he's, like I said,
Hopefully he gets Giff in there for you then. Well, next week, number 5, Baker Mayfield. He's going to be our dog next week. He's, I think he's getting Mike Evans back. Going to look forward to that. Jane Daniels is my number 4 guy for the week, going against Dallas. Like I said, Dallas just falling out, absolutely falling apart. Patrick Mahomes, Carolina, easy pickings. Jared Goff going as number 2 next week, not number 1. 400 yards, though, just a huge game, and he'll have another big one against Indy. And then Lamar Jackson for the comeback week, player of the week next week. LA Chargers are going to cry their way to Mahomes getting like 4 or 5 tutties. Then my top 5 sleepers. This week we had 2 of the Detroit Lions in there. This week we're not going to see any of them in there, but we're going with Derrick Henry, going to make a comeback week against the Chargers at number 5. Kyrene Williams, LA Rams, going against Philly, is my number 4 guy for the week. Barkley against the Rams, number 3. So we got 2 guys from the same game. I got in the top 5. CMC is going to make that finally breakout game this week against Green Bay. I think look to see him put up 30 points. And then Devon Achane, big game this week, number 1 guy. We're looking to be number 1 guy next week too. And then my sleeper of the week, if you're looking deeper, Tyrone Tracy, Tampa Bay. I mean, it's not that his name's Tyrone. That has nothing to do with it. He's just a beast. Top 5 sleeper wide rights. Puka Nacua. You're going to be plugging him even at the cost, same as Jefferson. Even at the cost they're at, they're going to be good guys for DFS or season long. My number 3 is that sleeper Kyler Murray. He's got to throw to someone. Like I said, big comeback game this week for Arizona. Marvin Harrison's going in number 3. Jackson Smith-Njigba coming in at number 2. Guy's been on fire ever since I traded him on my dynasty team. Held him since the day he was drafted. Traded him 2 weeks ago. Been on fire ever since. Go screw yourself, buddy. St. Brown coming in at number 1. Again, even though he won't have such an easy opponent, he's just going to keep rolling. Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 1 pick next week. And then if you're looking for a deep little something else a little deeper. Cortland Sutton going to be a big play this week. Dan, number 5, tight ends. Mark Andrews going to make a comeback against the Chargers. David Njoku against Pittsburgh. I think he's going to have another big game. Kittle out this week. Hopefully you were able to get him out of your lineup if you had him in there. He's going to get number 3. Travis Kelce. I'm going to put him at number 1 because they're playing Carolina, but settled at number 2 because I think Jonnu Smith is going to have another huge game. That's kind of a dark horse, probably not who you'd expect to see at number 1 in tight end for the week, but Jonnu Smith going against New England next week. That's the guy I'm firing up. And then again, guy who might have been dropped in leagues or a guy who's cheap DFS for my play, Pat Freiermuth, going against the Cleveland Browns. And then I'll rip through the defenses quickly. Top 5 defenses for the week. I'm going to go 1 to 5. Lions 1, Denver 2, Texans 3, Kansas 4, Tampa 5. Just like every week, I'd maybe spend $5, $6, $10, depending on how much waiver fab you have, and pick up one of those Ds if you want, because it's just easy pickings. You're playing the Jets, Carolina, Tennessee. Obviously, playing Carolina has been easy pickings all year. So going against any of those teams is always a smart play. That's how I like to kind of play my D. If I don't have that locked in, like Denver D, if I get them, then I'll just roll them all year because they're my team. But otherwise, I'm going to roll through just whoever's playing the shittier teams. Players to bench this week. Now, this could be controversial. I got some big names in there. But I'm going Jalen Hurts. Bench the man. I got Barkley up there at the top, but I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to have a big game. I think you're going to be able to find a better option against the LA Rams next week, even though it's going to be a big game and it's going to be in prime. I just don't see it. Same as Jordan Love against San Francisco. I got them winning, but I don't think Jordan Love is going to be putting up big points in that one. For running back, Taylor Swift. I said Taylor Swift. Jonathan Taylor, and then Swift from Chicago. Taylor Swift. Wow. They took me over. They got my brain. They've abducted me fully, and I am now a Swiftie, and I didn't even know it. But Swift and Taylor, I'm benching them both next week. And then just because I probably got a couple guys that from Pittsburgh watch the show, George Pickens, bench. Get him out of here. Russ Wilson's going to finally show his true colors, exactly what he did in Denver. And honestly, though, actually, I think if Russ keeps playing good in Pittsburgh, Denver should be able to sue him because he obviously scammed them and didn't even try. Like, if he keeps doing okay, they should sue him for all $98 million salary back because that guy's just a plug last year, and it doesn't even make sense. But either way, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. We're going to get into a little bit of scraps. That's what I want to do most of the show on today, and then we'll touch on hockey probably a little later at the very end of the show when we're ripping this pack. But I want to touch on those scraps from last night. Don't really have any pictures, but wanted to get into the conversation with Trav if he ends up being able to come back. But speaking of fights, none other than my man, Joel Bam Bam Mills. Like we said, we got those online fitness classes going. We are going to be launching a fully curated boxing class in the new year. Joel put his heavy effort and his life's work into putting that class together. I think it's going to be an amazing course for people that are, any levels of boxing to try. But a little word from Joel, and then we'll get into the fights this weekend.
Hey everybody, Joel Mills here with the Bam Bam Fitness Club, here to introduce our crossbody resistance course. We train Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. The class is 1 hour long, and it's weight training as well as aerobic stepper exercises.
Curl, press out, press up. Just do your best here, guys. If the arms burn out, just take a breather. And shoulder to shoulder stretch, guys.
And then we add those meta bands in to give us the supersets and the exercise combinations to really increase that muscle breakdown, guys. This is like your typical lifting day in the gym.
And 10 push-ups. Band on the wrist, guys. Squat press for 10. And wall rows. Let's hit 15 each side. Bring that hand as low as you can with that palm back. And then just trying to keep the reps consistent.
We're going to train hard. We're going to break our muscles down so they grow back bigger, stronger week by week. Love to see you guys in the crossbody resistance class. We'll see you there. Have a great day, guys.
Awesome job. Until next time.
All right, well, I hope you like to learn a little more about Bam Bam Boxing's online workouts. Like I said, some of the best classes in the world. You can do them from anywhere. But I'm going to get into these fights this weekend, and thank the good Lord that you guys don't just have to listen to me. The beautiful bald head, shiny man is here, and we got a co-host. We will keep ripping. I don't even know if that was a word that I said there, but I said it. I was so excited. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Bald-headed shiny man. What
Yeah,
is?
I see you down in the stage. It was just glistening down there.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. You know, I'll tell you what. I was just, doing that bedtime routine with the kid, and any time that you're like kind of in a rush, it takes 10 times longer. You're like, come on, like let's go. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to the show. And then, I forgot the hat. Usually, I have the hat ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's the difference. Yeah.
Ready to pop on. This is probably my second live stream in forever without a hat. So
nice. Well, you look good. Look good.
man.
Thanks. Glad you joined us. But obviously, touch on football. You were, doing whatever. So good. It's good. Hope you got it all done. Got the kids tucked in. Made a nice little bedtime story.
Oh yeah.
Love to hear it. But we're gonna get into the fights this weekend because I'm like at the very least. I probably wouldn't have paid for them anyways. I'd have stole them off Stream East, allegedly, because we're live and shit. But Netflix. Good for them. They probably got a ton of spots, a ton of new subscriptions and such for people that wanted to tune in that maybe didn't have. I think everybody at this point probably does have Netflix, like very minimal if you don't. But that fight sucked. I don't know. Did you watch it? Did you
hold on. First off, I need to understand, were you able to stream on Netflix? Did you not have the buffering issues that everybody else had? It seemed like across the United States, because I missed the whole Amanda Serrano fight. Like I saw like the very beginning and then like bits and pieces here and there. Missed the whole in between the Serrano fight and the Paul Tyson fight, and then the first round of the Paul Tyson fight. And by the second round, I was able to get in and actually watch it. But did you not have those issues?
No, so that's amazing to hear. So like we were at the out at my grandparents because it was my grandfather's funeral, so we were there. The whole family was there. Kind of as things were settling down on Friday night, it was like, well, let's watch this fight because it's like pretty late by the time it was going.
Sure.
So a little bit of pain in the ass to try to get going, just because we didn't have like a smart TV or anything, so we are just on the phone. So then we were trying to get it going on the computer. Wasn't really working, but once we got it going on the phone, we didn't have any delays, but like any of that shenanigans. But I think we were just behind. Like I think we were quite a bit behind, like delayed or somehow, because at one point then I was talking to someone after and they're like, oh, you're watching that? I already seen that like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're 10 minutes behind the world. So maybe that's like because of our like shuffle and our delay of like trying to get it all going, it saved us that. But I guess I didn't know anybody was having issues. It
really
was smooth for me, just that we were 10 minutes behind and had some issues trying to get it going in the first place, because I think it crashed Netflix, but we must
all the memes and all the jokes and all the trash talking on Netflix online was wild. It was hilarious. I'll tell you what.
Even see most of it, but geez, you can't even knock out one of them guys, but you can knock out the host server.
So exactly, you know what I mean? That's exactly what happens. I don't know if Netflix didn't effectively, load test the stream site. Like I don't even know how that works. I'm not a techie in that sense.
It's probably hard to load test like millions of users.
Well, very true, very true. But I mean, Amazon's got it figured out. Netflix does not yet, and they need to get it figured out because they got a big football game coming up. I think that'll be their second live stream, because they got the Steelers on Christmas Day, and the Steelers, are the greatest football team in the NFL right now. So they really got to get that locked in and figured out.
I'll let you have it this week because they took out the Baltimore Ravens, as we discussed a little earlier. But for me, just I'm glad it was on Netflix. They obviously must have made a huge amount of money to be able to pay out like the 80 or 100 million they pay, because Tyson and Paul got, I think, 40 mil and 20 mil or something like that. It's like, what a payday for them. But to me, at the end of it all, like, there can never be another Jake Paul money fight ever, can there? Like the next one, whoever hosts it and streams it, like the world should make sure that they lose money, because what the fuck was that we witnessed? Like it was a joke, man. I caught the undercard a little bit, but so let's get to Serrano Taylor. I want to touch on that first. So obviously big rematch from one of the greatest, women's fights from last year. And I would have to say that it's a big ripoff there, right? Like
Serrano got screwed, man. I've never seen anybody get as screwed as Serrano got screwed there.
Yeah, like every stat category she's had, watching the fight, she won the fight, right? I think she was 324 of 734 as opposed to 217 of 524. So around the same percentage landed, but 104 more punches landed by Serrano, right? And then power punches 278 to 200, so she led in that. Body punches, I think it was like 54-4 for a body punch total. And just it looked like utter domination to me. I wouldn't say utter domination, but it looked like she was the better fighter the whole fight. She even got headbutted by Taylor, and again, I think accidental. I don't think
sure they clashed heads. I wouldn't say it was an intentional headbutt. They both came in and clashed heads. That's just unlucky for Serrano there.
But she got deducted a point for that, and completely lost the fight and won. So that is like, who are these judges? Like a complete it sets the whole sport back, in my opinion. That's a complete mockery of the performance these two ladies put on, to just not even judge it like you're looking at the fight.
I agree. Yeah, boxing's different. Boxing's tough. There's more of a cabal in boxing, in my mind. So I don't know who's behind the scenes pulling what strings, but they need to figure it out. That was absolute BS. That was highway robbery of Amanda Serrano there.
Well, and then, speaking of highway robbery, just all of us, we just literally all got highway robbery by having to watch Jake Paul and Tyson. Like, what was that?
What did you expect? What did you expect?
I expected them to try to fight, and I expected Jake Paul to probably knock old Mike Tyson out, is what I expected.
Did you not feel sad or uncomfortable?
I would have felt sad and uncomfortable, and it would have been a tarnish to his career. But there are two men going in a ring to fight. You're supposed to fight, especially when you're going in the ring to try to grow the sport and to be the most highly paid athletes in that sport. Put on a performance for it. Make it so other people want to come and watch next week. Make it so they want to watch Serrano Taylor in a fight where the judges aren't going to rob them. Make it so that people care, because it was a joke, man. I don't know what to say. Like the first round, it was kind of like, okay, feeling them out. Second round, I was like, okay, we got a little action. And then they just did nothing. I don't give a shit. There was 4 rounds, Tyson didn't even swing a fist. And I was like, and those 4 rounds, the whole time, Jake Paul did not swing a fist either. And I was like, this is a joke, because I could tell clear as day Jake Paul could have just knocked that guy out. And not that that's what I wanted, but what a scam to just wander around for 8 rounds and do, in my opinion, nothing.
So I agree that it sucked. And by the 3rd round, I felt really uncomfortable watching it, to be honest. The way Tyson was moving
he wasn't doing anything.
I mean, no, I'm sorry. The way that he was dodging punches and I don't know. It just looked like an old man. Like if you went and pushed an old man, like the jerky. And again, he wasn't dodging punches jerky. It was just his tendencies and his movements.
He had a couple of good, low ones that I was.
He did.
Like I'm not gonna say he was complete trash out there. It was okay. For an 58-year-old man, he probably moved better than I would have at my age right now. No doubt. But I would have either got knocked out or been trying to punch someone out. Like they didn't even throw their fists. What were they doing?
Yeah. The footwork of Tyson, obviously he's just how old he is, it's just tough. It is tough. And again, after 3 rounds, I felt bad. I wanted it to be over. He got some good hits in there. It looked like Jake got stung a little bit. But I mean, it was a circus. I expected it to be a circus, and that's what it ended up being.
But it ended up more than a circus to me, kind of a mockery of the sport by the Serrano Taylor outcome and by the just dancing around, taking 60 million out of the sport. Because I mean, I am 100%. I've watched all the Jake Paul fights. I've been, I've always, kind of had the feeling of whatever. But at least they were fights. It just, unless he's fighting a professional at the top of his game where I can see that it's going to be trying, I just don't think I'll watch a single another one of these money fights. And I hope everybody else does, because then we can just finally end it, maybe. You know what I mean? Holy geez, it's up to us to end this.
the world we live in now, man. It is the world we live in now. And, you know, I say that I'm not going to watch them, but I will watch every single freaking one of them. You know, I want to say that I'm not going to watch them, but I will, especially when they're free. I'm not going to pay $69 to watch one. I don't know why I said 69. Is it always 69?
No, I don't even think I'll watch it, but I'll watch it like a day later so that they don't get the live streaming views.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And you know what was pretty fun though, after the fact, Ariel Helwani's in the ring, and Ariel Helwani, for those that don't know, I think he's a pretty big name MMA pundit that's done, you know, quite a bit in boxing lately. You know, he was kind of it was interesting the questions that he was asking Tyson and Paul afterwards. And, you know, obviously he asked Tyson about him biting his glove, because that was all that the announcers could seem to talk about, was him biting his glove and why he was doing it. And what did Tyson say? Did you hear it, TK?
Yeah, something like he's got a biting sensation or something.
Yeah, a biting addiction. And then, oh my gosh, then Helwani follows it up with, yeah, I think I heard about that. And I mean, I died. I absolutely died. It was perfect. So funny. You know, the call out of Logan Paul was kind of cheesy. You know, I don't know why. I'm assuming that was planned in advance, but it was a little awkward. The way Logan answered made it seem like it was planned, but I don't know.
Who did he call out?
Logan Paul.
Pardon?
He called out Logan Paul.
He called out his brother?
No. Tyson called out Logan Paul. So Ariel Helwani said to Tyson, so what do you think? You hanging it up? What are you going to do? And he's like, oh, I feel good out here. Well, who do you think you'll take next? You know, and he said, well, I think I'll take Logan Paul. And Logan's standing on the other side. And Helwani turns around to Logan, and Logan's like something like, I'll kill you, old man. What are you talking about? So it was a little played out, I think, a little cheesy,
but that would, yeah. I wouldn't want to watch it.
No, God, no. Yeah, I won't watch another Tyson fight, man. Please retire. Sail off into the sunset with your 20 million on your super yacht.
I mean, Thank you for hopping in the ring and attempting it. I mean, that's amazing. And honestly, the one thing I will say out of all of it, as much as I'm like a little bit mad and whatever, because it was a trash fight to watch, I will give Jake Paul, if it wasn't in the contract, because I don't know, there's talk that like there was a contract, they weren't allowed to knock each other. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to it because it's probably just internet shenanigans. But what I will say is, if he could have knocked him out and chose not to, I give him respect for that, because that would be such a tarnish to Tyson's career to get KO'd like that. And I think there is, to me, it was clear as day Paul could have knocked him out and he didn't. And I commend him for that, because this, to not tarnish Mike's career and have that opportunity and not try to run around and be like, I knocked out Mike Tyson when he's an old man. I give him respect for that.
I do as well. And, you know, as much shit as Jake Paul gets from the legacy MMA media fans, the boxing fans, I do think after fights, he handles himself very well. Yes, he sells the fights, but he handles himself very well.
And that's maybe the one reason why I do watch the next one, is because after I'm like, oh, okay, it was kind of a show. He's an okay guy. But this fight was just, the fight sucked. So that was, the fight was, it was a mockery to the sport of boxing, in my opinion. Yeah,
you're a truist as well, and I really appreciate that about you. And I want to say, before we move on to the next topic, in my opinion, this does not tarnish Mike Tyson's career. It does not affect it at all, even though it's, you know, it's
if he got knocked out, it would have.
Yeah, potentially. But I've seen a lot of, oh, is this fight going to tarnish his career? Even getting in the ring in this fight, is this going to tarnish his career? No, his career ended 20 years ago, you know, when I was still watching TV and the TV was a piece of furniture. That's when his career ended, you know.
All I wish from that night is I guarantee a lot of old people came to the sport, a lot of new people came to the sport, a lot of brand new eyes came to the sport, and I wish that the fight would have been more entertaining so that they would have stuck around for the sport. And I wish that the fight would have, that the Serrano Taylor, like, because it's kind of like you said, it's kind of a circus card. And so when people come to that, that's what they think boxing is then, right? When you make a circus out of it and that's the most viewed thing, everybody's just like, why are they going to watch the next one if the highest stage is a circus, right? And so all I wish it would have came out of it is good outcomes and a good fight for the main, right?
It was here in Dallas, man. It was here in Dallas. The nosebleeds at AT&T Stadium were like 700 is what I heard. So it was
So I heard there are different things, this and that. I looked online and it said nosebleeds were $78. I don't know.
So
if that's
I never looked. I heard it was 700. So
I just Googled it during the fight. I Googled how much are the average, like what's the tickets for Paul Tyson? Because me and my cousin were having a debate, and I was like, I don't know, 400 nosebleed, and he was like, oh no, I bet you it's like 1,000. And I pulled it up, and it said $78 to like 1,900 for down low. I don't know if that's true or not, because I know there was a $2 million box beside the ring, right? There was a $2 million seat or whatever, like a little ringside seat. Imagine paying $2 million to watch that. Oh my God. That, like,
Agreed.
you got to get a refund.
And I want to say one more thing with Amanda Serrano. I've been a fan of her ever since the first fight I saw her. She's on every card with Jake Paul. Obviously, Paul trains out of Puerto Rico. She trains out of Puerto Rico. Obviously, I'm assuming in the same gym, but I wouldn't know her career as well as I do if it wasn't for these money fights. And for that, I'm grateful, because she is she's such an impressive fighter. And, I'm so stoked to see her as the co-main on all of Paul's cards, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, no, that's our take on that. Moving on to UFC 309, big card, and Saturday night there, all kinds of battles, a lot of wins, but the two big fights: Charles Oliveira, Chandler. He's been getting his butt whooped since he left Bellator, man. He is entertaining those fights. He's had a couple comeback wins, but he's taking a lot of lickings. It seems like he calls out everybody and then they beat him up.
So he's a showman. He is a showman. He is a spitfire. He's a wild man in there.
He act his buck too.
He takes a punch like nobody I've ever seen. He was getting caught up against the fence a little bit there. And I made two bets in this fight. I bet Chandler to win as a plus 200.
Okay.
And my hope was that Chandler would catch him. He would get in, boom, catch him, hop on him, and TKO him. And then I took Stipe at plus 650 for a knockout. Only way Stipe's winning is by knockout. So why don't I just kind of throw a little money at Stipe? And both my bets sunk hard. However, I want to say that Michael Chandler is a dog, and Charles Oliveira is one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Just watching him systematically and calmly piece apart Michael Chandler, take him down, take his back, take him down, take his back, take him down, take his back. But for Chandler not to get tapped there is absolutely.
I was blown away because Oliveira is such a good grappler. That obviously
he's the best.
One of the best, especially in that weight class. And for Chandler to work through those rounds, like round after round, basically 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and not get submitted, I was very impressed.
Very impressed. And, there was some controversy there in the fifth round where I thought Chandler had him, man, stunned him, got in on him, and then, just couldn't finish it. But a lot of punches to the back of the head, to the back of Oliveira's head when he was working on some ground and pound. He was in full guard, though, didn't have a lot of room. So yeah, just an interesting fight. Again, I made the bet on Chandler, wanted to see Chandler get it done. And then Chandler, after the fight, the call out of Connor was gold. Again, Chandler is a showman.
They kept him around. He's one of those guys. There's certain guys that are just like, even if they lose, they give him an interview because they just have some planned shenanigans for them to yell.
Yeah. And I'm not mad. I'm glad that he was in there. He's fought the best of the best lightweight division. Since he's come to the UFC, he's fought the best of the best. There's not been an easy fight for him. Poirier. What's that?
Gaethje, all them.
Yeah, Gaethje. Yeah, it's just everybody. So.
But obviously, Oliveira is just such a beast. They dominated for 4 rounds. But then fifth round, Chandler almost had it. I was like, oh my God, he's actually going to do it. There's 2 or 3 minutes there. He started to kind of beat on him. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be such a crazy comeback if Oliveira hasn't finishes him. And he ground and pounds this guy to death. And eventually they kind of got back up to the feet. And Oliveira was able to kind of play it out for the last little bit. But
yeah,
I was like, holy shit for a little bit.
took him down, got his back again, and smooth sailing on the way out. When that happened, before he left his corner in the going into the 5th round, before Oliveira left his corner man said, "Be safe, like play it safe, like don't take risks. Let's go." And it's hard to get out there with a world-class fighter and not be in danger. So
yeah, exactly.
Great fight. I think Oliveira, obviously, I think Makhachev has a fight lined up, but Oliveira is the next in line, hands down, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, it was a great battle, and we'll see where those two guys go. But they're both unreal talents. But Oliveira will be hopefully going for the belt next, and then the big bout, Jones versus Stipe. Jones making his comeback after, I guess, when was the last time Jones fought? He fought
not long ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago or within, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a year, a little over, but this was really a comeback for Stipe, who hadn't fought
since 2019 or something, right? 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, I think 4 years, and Stipe coming back at 42 against John Jones, who is arguably the greatest of all time. Picogram Jones. All of his drama that he's had. I think 4 failed drug tests. Domestic violence accusations.
He's a man of God now.
I know. Holy cow, his post-fight interview. But like looking at the fight as a whole, I mean, again, similar to the Oliveira fight, just a systematic, just piecing apart of Stipe. Stipe got hit early and got hit often to the body with that kick, and Stipe, just kind of, he wasn't able to do much. Unfortunately, he had fought in 4 years, maybe a little ring rust. I was sad about that one as well. Similar to the Tyson fight, I was sad. And Johns didn't look like no specimen out there. He didn't look like Jack John Jones that he normally looks like. He looked, he had a little belly on him. He was out there doing his thing, but he was still the same John Jones that people know and love, for sure.
Yeah, and then those spinning kick, he had a couple, two straight kicks to right to the solar plexus, and you could tell both times they really affected Stipe. Kind of took a little bit of his will out of him. Those ones were really hard, just a toe to right into the middle of the solar plexus. That shit'll irk you. And then I know he said he tried to they practiced defending those spinning back kicks and stuff, but he just snuck that in. But what I'm more concerned about, or not even concerned, more maybe don't understand fully, is why did he fight number 8th ranked coming back from 5 years Stipe?
John Jones is looking to make money. He's not looking to do what's the best for the division in his mind. I think this was the fight for the UFC. I think the UFC wants to make money, and the UFC makes way more money on a Jones Stipe fight than they make on a Jones Aspinall fight. Unfortunately, Stipe is a known name. He's been in the game forever, multi-time world champion, heavyweight champion, and John Jones is gonna fight the man that was the man in the heavyweight division. Coming up from light heavyweight.
To me, I get that fully. I'm not oblivious to any of those facts, but to me, when you have a guy who's sitting as the interim champion because you were away, he's not ranked number 1 or number 2, he is the champion, he's holding the belt, you have to fight that dude. You can't fight anybody but that dude, because you have to so we still just have to.
Yeah, you got to reunite the belts. And what I appreciate about you, TKB, so much is that you're a purist, just similar to boxing and now with MMA. But unfortunately, it's just not like that in these games. What these promoters are doing is they're trying to make money, and they are making money. Lots of it. They are making lots of money. So, but what they were able to do, sorry, I just touched my mic. What they were able to do during this whole series is they were able to hype the John Jones Aspinall fight. They were able to do that, this whole time by him saying, "I'm not fighting that bum." You know what I mean? I'm going to fight somebody that's going to be more famous. I'm going to fight somebody more worth my time. And, they bring him in, sit him right next to the ring, and all they're doing is showing him, talking about Tom. So I think that it was the move. It was the move. I think that they sold the next fight for John Jones.
But I guess he kind of said, though, that from what I gathered from his interview, that he kind of was going to be dodging Aspinall and going for Pereira, right? So I hope he fights Aspinall and then Pereira. That's what I would love to see, and I think that's the best path for the sport.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you. I don't think he didn't clarify though.
No, that's the vibe I got.
It was one or the other. It could have been either, and when they were talking, I'm not sure why there are balloons going around me. Did you see
why'd
that?
You get balloons? Let's
try that again.
Like a finger thing, and I want balloons. I know I can get a thumbs up if I hold my thumb here long enough. Is it your birthday?
I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. We won't.
That was pretty rad. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. The Pereira fight. John Jones is huge. He's big, so I don't know. I don't know if that's good for Pereira. John Jones is an elite grappler. It's a big money fight for sure. So
yeah, I would like to see them, unify the belts and then move forward and see
agree.
I guess just for them, there is that. I guess he loses, it would really screw up, because to me the big money fight is Pereira Jones. That's the big money fight. Like I think that's actually the biggest money fight UFC could put on right now. Could who else would be two bigger names that Nobody. They could put on in the organization? I think that's them.
Without a doubt, that'll be the biggest money fight. Maybe not ever. But it'll be up there.
If, not looking into my purist, but going to you said it would make a lot of sense to go up and fight Pereira just to make sure, right, that they get that battle.
What's interesting is I would say maybe about 5 years ago, there was, joking talk about Izzy versus John Jones. And they said, no way, Izzy's just too small and John Jones is just too big for that to be any value for Izzy, at all, ever. Izzy ended up going up to light heavyweight, I think fighting once or twice, lost to, was it Jan Blachowicz or something like that. And then went back down, where Pereira is just bigger. He's a bigger dude than Izzy. He was cutting down to 85 and then, obviously winning at 205. So it's still doable, going from 85 to 225. Woo! Jones coming in at I think Jones was 235 this week. Maybe.
Way she goes. Well, we're getting up near that hour, and that's like I say, good weekend of fights for the UFC. I think the UFC card was great. I think the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, it brought the hype, but in the end lulled me to death a little bit. But UFC card was great. I got zero complaints. Shout out to Dana, and I love seeing Elon and Trump there. The Trump dance at the end, because people can be on whatever side of politics you are, but I'm very happy to see Trump elected, and I'm happy to hopefully see the changes him and RFK Jr. will implement. I just had a big talk with a couple of my friends back home about really changing health and food, and I think it'll be great. But I just love seeing some of the toughest and smartest dudes in the world, whether people will give them the credit for that. These guys work with the best doctors, this and that. That's the guy that they support, and I love seeing Trump at those fights all the time. He's just he's one of us, man.
Yeah, it was definitely cool to see that. And
Elon.
You said RFK was there, Tulsi Gabbard was there.
I was okay. So I was when Jones was giving everybody love after, right, to give Trump some love, and Elon and a couple other guys. I was sitting there going, "You better give RFK some love." He's doing, he didn't. So I was kind of a little rattled, actually. I was like, the best of them all is there. You got to go. That's the dude.
He gave Trump the belt too. He gave Trp his belt, or I don't know. He gave it.
He got it back.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Yeah. Because I was for a second, I was, oh shit, he's giving it to him, but then he handed it to him.
So originally when they had the old belt, and I don't think that was the original belt, but the belt before this belt was they got a new belt every time they won it, is what my understanding was. So those people that defended the belt multiple times, it wasn't like it was the same belt being passed around. They got a new belt each time that they won.
Yeah, because the guys have them on the mantle.
Exactly. But this belt, I don't think they do. They get another rhinestone in it for each defense or something like that. I think that's how it is. I think it's one belt that you get to keep, but you get additional rhinestones in the belt. I think that's how it is. Obviously you can probably have some made and kept or something like that. You can buy more, but
we'll have to look into that, see how the belts work. Maybe that's something we'll chat about in the future. But let's close out with a couple move on to hockey for just a couple minutes. We got a pack to rip here, so I'm going to fire that up. And I know you want to close out with a couple guys you thought were some busts, and then maybe we'll just look at that schedule for this week if I pull it up and see what who's got all the big games that can help us get some weekly wins next week in our hockey fantasy leagues. But I'll pull that up if you want to.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think that there's been some surprises the beginning of this season, and I would say some of the surprises are, players underperforming. I don't know how many games we're in right now. We're probably close to an eighth of the way through the season. Would you say? Maybe even more, actually. It's already halfway through November, so potentially even more than that. And some of the guys that we were really excited about performing well, especially in Nashville, are not. Looking at we have Steven Stamkos, 4 goals, 4 assists, minus 13 plus minus on the year. Marchessault, not much better. I think he's sitting at 8 or 9 points and a minus 12 on the year. It's rough in Nashville getting that production from the newbies, the top 3. Nashville was like rated A+ at their free agency this year, and it's not showing. That's for sure. So I would say that was a bust for me and very surprising. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Marchman, I've not really been following that up, but Hyman was a guy who, and you are in the fantasy league. I kept him as one of my keepers this year. I probably had a chance to pass on him and kept him, and he's really not doing much at all this year. And I don't know, I was kind of zoned out. Did you touch on Skinner?
No. I only touched on the Nashville boys, so Marchessault and Stamkos. But yeah, tell me more about Skinner. I don't, obviously Western. You're good, but Western Canada, I miss a lot of that news. So what's going on with Skinner?
Just hasn't been playing good. I think he's got like an 870 goals against average, and so then you get him not necessarily playing as best as you would want, and then you get Hyman, who's not putting goals in that, and all of a sudden, maybe not the best duo together. But that said, Edmonton started so slow last year and then came out to almost win the cup 1 game away, and Hyman with 50 tucks. But I don't see him getting 50 this year unless he gets her going pretty soon. He's going to have to, 40 is going to be a push unless he gets moving.
So, yeah, I mean, we got to see him start delivering on the power play and, just being that net front force that he was last year. He was a backboard for McDavid. He was McDavid's backboard, so got to see him do that. He's got to get that shovel going in front of the net and start burying pucks. I picked him up in one of my leagues as well. Not a keeper league, but a fresh league where I got him in the second round, picked up Rantanen in the first, got him in the second, and right now a bust of a pick for sure.
And as I say, sorry, I was not on the tangent while you were chatting Nashville there, but the Stamkos, I was really hoping to see him go wild over there, but we'll see. But moving into this pack, I want to rip this pack. You weren't here at the start, but it's going out to our buddy Trav. He joined the Twitter space this morning. He was giving some good takes and such, so he's going to be taking home this pack of cards. I told him hop on the Discord and send his address. I'll send it out to him. But you guys hop in every week. We're ripping packs. We're giving them away. We're doing drafts. We're having all kinds of fun. We also got a comment here we'll go to before I rip this open. We got Cole Tiemann piping in on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I just traded Higgins and Debo for Pickens and Cut. Did I win, man? Start a parade.
Yeah. What? Who did you trade with?
Yeah,
your dead grandma. What is happening?
No, but honestly, I look at that trade and so Debo has potential. Don't get me wrong. He could be a stud, and he still is the 49ers. So, but the way Higgins and Debo have been playing, I'd almost trade both of them just for Cup. And that's a massive win, Pickens and Cup. 100%. You're either playing against idiots or I don't know, but that's a massive win. Start the parade and give yourself a pat on the back.
Especially with the way Pickens is playing right now with Russie Dub under the center in Pittsburgh. Pickens is Russell Wilson's go-to guy, and he's going to continue to be that all season. Great trade in my mind.
Riley Smith. Speaking of those Vegas nights you're talking about. Little Ryan Pollock. That's a good card.
Tell you what, the Vegas Knights right now are getting lit up by the Ovi train. Ovi had 2 goals earlier. I don't know. He was on Hattie watch for a little bit. I haven't looked at my phone since we've been on this show. But
look at that. I'm going to move it to the back, though, because I see that there's a shiny one behind it. But we had a little PK Subban. I haven't seen him in a hot minute. He's a stud muffin. What do we got? Kevin Fiala.
There you go.
Soda.
PK is running
look at this one. That's a nice card. I would actually want to keep that one, but it's going out to Trav. Little Carey Pricey. Sean Couturier. Victor Olofsson. I wonder if we're going to pull anything sweet out of this thing. Ilya Lubishka, or whatever it is.
Labushkin. Yeah, he's with the Stars now.
Nice. JT Compere. He's with Detroit, my boys. And he's also one of the very few guys in fantasy that's center, left wing, right wing eligible. Little pro tip. He's not going to be a guy you probably roster, but when you're looking for some plugins or this or that, he's a guy that can work in your lineup pretty well just because of that flexibility. Okay, so we got the PK Subban card. Let's pull her up here. Let's see what we got. So what do we got behind this bad boy? It's different. Okay. I guess I should.
I like things. Let's go.
My boy Hot Dog's watching. I will. I'll set up. You can buy this off of Trav right now. What do we got? Ooh, some kind of. Just a different color. What is it? Just a different color. I don't think it's anything even that special. The other one was shiny and special that we pulled out of the other pack. That rookie one. It was like that thing's probably got a couple bucks value on it. This thing's just like. I guess they partnered with McDonald's, just like Doodles.
That's what I was saying. Did you really get a Doodles cup the other day?
Pardon? No, I have the NFT, but I stole that picture from someone. I think it's in America, not Canada.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's in Canada yet. Anyways, well, there's a pack. I'm going to send that out to Trav. Make sure if you guys want, you can tune in next week. We'll be ripping another. What do you want to rip next week, Trav? Football, hockey, or baseball?
I think we got to go back to football. We're hockey 2 weeks in a row. I'm having fun with this new structure of the show. I think it allows you and me to get serious and give some good takes while we have a little fun as well. So I think let's go back to football as we're coming up on the latter half of the season.
Love it. Sounds good. And then just to wrap up the show, as always, a couple fantasy tips for your hockey league next week if you're playing anybody in head-to-head or any type of matchup next week. As always, to me, the go-to is those teams with the 4-game weeks. It's simple, but it's the fact that carries the squad. So when you're looking for guys that you can plug into that lineup, you're looking for these 4-game guys, especially as we discussed last week. A lot of times it's at Thursday and Saturday that are full days too. So sometimes it's nice if you can get a guy that doesn't play on those days, just because those are the days that your roster seems to be the most full in fantasy. But if you look here, our guys playing 4 games this week are Carolina and those slumping Nashville Preds. We can see if your boys will get it going this week or not. And then we have Pittsburgh Penguins, Seattle Kraken, St. Louis Blues, Vancouver, and Vegas Golden Knights. So those are our teams this week with 4 games. There is 7 of them that are playing 4 this week. And so again, the thing that stands out to me when I look at this is same as always is, this right here, Pittsburgh, not having that Sunday game. So right away to me, that's the appealing team to me, because I can get those 4-man games. It depends on your roster. Some leagues you're going to have 3 pickups, 5, etc. So say in a league with 3 pickups, you can't really do a whole lot. So you might want to make a pickup at the start of the week, get those 4 games. Now you can make a last minute push to drop that guy, pick up one more guy, and maybe plug someone else in if you're desperate, drop a guy or whatever, right? But a lot of leagues I'm in are 3-5 pickups. So again, that every week that stands out to me if you can get 4 games in less than 7 days. So free Thursday. So when you're going to pick it up, what I would do is look at that and now go to Thursday, go to Saturday, look at your fantasy lineup. Is it full or not? Because you can go, okay, Pittsburgh 4 games, like last week there was a league where Brian Rust was sitting out. Well, he's pretty damn good where he's probably going to be my pick for the most part, even if I maybe got to bench him for that one of those 3 games, because maybe there's an injury, maybe I can still play him, etc. But for the most part, you're probably not getting a stud. You're getting a guy who's a little further back. And so I want to get the 4-man games. And so I'm going to look, and on Saturday, is there a day or a position that's empty, left wing, right wing, etc. So then that's the position I'm going to target on that team, because now I know I can plug him in all 4 days. But you got to kind of preemptively look at your lineup and see, are there any days you're full? Because if there's a day you're full, then the goal is to, try to pick up a guy with 3 or 4 games that isn't playing on that day.
Agree. Solid take, man. It's been so much fun to kind of do this and follow. It's actually kind of frustrating. I'm like, gosh, I put a lot of time into fantasy hockey right now, and I enjoy it a little too much. But I'm, on Monday afternoon, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't looked at daily faceoff yet. I haven't done my pickups. Has TK done his pickups yet? Has anybody? Are they in the zone? So it's pretty wild. But,
yeah, so I picked up Braden Shen this morning because he was playing with St. Louis, and I within 4 seconds got a text from my buddy Bean. You freaking asshole! I was just seeing who to drop, and then I pressed add, and it said he's already on another roster, and I was like, oh,
no way.
Early bird gets the worm, baby.
Let's go.
But yeah, so to me, it's Pittsburgh guys that I'm probably grabbing. If you're in a position though where maybe there's 2 days that doesn't line up or something, maybe one of the other teams becomes more appealing because you can fill them all 4 days. But to me, grabbing a guy that fits in, plugging him in for those 4 days, I'm dropping him on Saturday and then chasing the exact stat points I need to take home a win on that final day.
Love it.
That's the way I play it.
TK, I know we're about to close out. I do have one question for you, and I'm going to throw you off a little bit. And I apologize in advance, but I think you know enough about this person. So you showed a card in that deck, Carey Price. And I believe Carey Price is coming up for, his first Hall of Fame ballot. Do you believe Carey Price to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I mean, I think a Hall of Famer in general eventually is a guaranteed.
I think he's very good. He never won anything or really went super, super deep with Montreal, in my opinion. But I mean, yes, especially just for his performances like with Team Canada and things like that, right? But I think he's one of the best goalies to have ever played the game. His stats do say that, whether he's got a lot of that Stanley Cup type of hardware you would want to have, maybe not so much, but he's got juniors, worlds, international play, Olympics, things under his belt like that. And then a very good, like, save percentage, goal against, career, like, just he was a stud goalie. So to me, yes, he is. He would be a Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I when you were showing the cards, it popped into my head. I was like, oh yeah, no, I think I saw that recently that he was coming up on the ballot. And just thinking about the teams that he had in Montreal were never the strongest teams consistently. They made a couple runs, however, never a consistently strong team. And sometimes they didn't get a lot of goal support, right? So I hope to see. I think that he is going to the Hall of Fame for sure at some point. Would like to see it this first year, and there's a lot of
obviously the person who's taking on this pack, our listener Trevor Hula. Now obviously Trav's made the case that you're taking home a pack with a Hall of Fame player in it. So I mean, shout to us at Bushleague. We're just giving out the goods to the good people here. Hall of Fame players, just handing them out free.
Love it. I'll tell you what, I was at Target today, and I don't know if you know what Target is, the American
Walmart.
Yeah, it's a fancier Walmart, I guess.
We have them.
And they had packs there. They had packs of cards, and I don't think I'd ever seen packs of cards there. So it's really cool to start seeing, collectibles become more readily available here in the United States, and it's says something, right? Obviously, Pokemon cards. I think my son right now is into Bakugan. I don't even know what that is, Bakugan. It sounds like sports cards are on their way back, and that's good news for the folks.
And that's obviously why too we'll be launching next year is our drafts and rips, right? We'll be getting into that 2025. We'll be launching that. The first set of drafts we'll be trying to fill will be baseball drafts, followed by football, and then hockey, just the way the season starts next year. But we'll be doing drafts where you can enter. We're going to be ripping all kinds of packs, different kind of rare packs. If I zoom out here, you can see I got a massive stash over here. Some of these boxes are, pretty rare boxes that'll have some cool stuff, some kaboom chases for like CJ Stroud, stuff like that. But we'll be doing all kinds of different drafts where you get to buy a spot in the draft, basically, just like any league. You pay to enter the league, you can win the league. But you were saying I was showing Daily Face-Off last week. You should have just told me that right in the show if I was showing the wrong week, so that I could have corrected it, dude. Instead of just doing it on the back and making me tell the whole world wrong stats. Cool. So I fucked it all up. We got to go back and redo that segment. One sec, folks, because I gave you absolutely no useful information. Yeah, if I'm fucking up, tell me. I gave you guys the whole last week. I didn't even give you the right week, so my apologies. But looking at this week, much simpler. Utah, 4 games. San Jose Sharks, 4 games. Edmonton Oilers, 4 games. So easy pickings. It's Oilers and it's Sharks. Thank you, Trav, for letting me know in the back end. But no, honestly, call me an idiot. Be like, dude, this is Bush League. You got the last weekend. Feel free to just rip me live on air if I'm being an idiot. I deserve it. I won't do it to you, but you can do it to me. I might, but I don't.
Got it.
But anyway, now that we got the stats right, see, last week I told everybody the wrong team that was in the CFL final. I got the gears for that. My old man was like, "What are you doing, kid? You got the wrong team in the CFL finals." And then the team that I didn't even say was there is a team that ended up winning it today. So it's just magical, I guess. But sometimes Bushleague Sports, we just gotta get shit wrong, and maybe you'll actually comment and we'll get somewhere and get this shit rolling.
Love it, man. Love it. Looks like Edmonton there was a good early week pickup. If you're looking for somebody, it looks like Edmonton's got 3 or 4 games there this week, 3 games, maybe within the first 4 days of the week. So solid. Who was Edmonton? I missed it. Anyway, all good.
Love it. Sweet. Well, appreciate you as always. It's good banter. Thanks for coming to help me break down the fights and all the goods and straightening me out. I would have left here without even telling anybody that they were picking up guys from the wrong team, because I'm just lying to them about who's playing this week. But thank you for pointing that out. Appreciate it. And next week we'll dial in. Maybe we'll pull up the stats and give them the right shit right off the giddy up. You never know.
Love it, man. Well, hey, thank you very much. Sorry I was late today. Did the family thing, but I appreciate you. Good times.
Thank you, brother. We'll take care. We'll get your predictions next week and get locked in.
Let's go, baby. Have a great week. See ya.
Nice. Hope you all enjoyed episode 41, Bushleague Sports. As always, join us next week. Hit that link up there to go over to the website. Check out some of our drafts and stuff that's coming. I see Trav just sent me his address. I'll be sending these packs out a little later today, and just hop in our Discord, join those Twitter spaces, and come try to win some prizes. We're stoked to have it and get all the info for those drafts. We'll be giving out all kinds of different things between now and then, and different free drafts and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll hope to see you there. But until next time, stay Bush League, baby.
From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. Tell them never question, dog, I'm sitting ghost status. Eating chicken with my jeans, smoking on some cabbage. Used to pedal on this
moment where you skate down the street and some shit for brains yells out of his window, "Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip! Do a kickflip!"
And house shoes, they know how the dog do. Skinny, heavy pockets, the West OG. Came across the globe, say they don't know me. Been applying pressure from 8 to 24 like Kobe. Mr. Hall of Fame used to bend the corners with strollies. Had to lay the blueprint, they rolled out the carpet. Anything I wanna own, I got my own market. Blew this, blew that, everything beautiful. Still ain't sold my guns and I still ain't had to use them though. Was once a hard head, now I'm counting blessings. I made my own way, still they don't ask questions. From the bottom, ain't no half-stepping. I'm the dog, I made it through so they don't ask questions. Long Beach, and it ain't no half-repping. Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions.
This is some straight, hey.
This is, oh gosh.
I got thin to smoke it.
Once a dog, always a dog, so they don't ask questions. I can't name a thing that I didn't have step. From the streets to movie screens, been getting bangs and checks. solid, you won't hear me with no bad rap. Legendary crippin' made it happen, and that's on the set. Still rolling on gold things, I'm a boss.
Go get it. What the fuck you waiting on, man? Let's go.
Blaming on my mom for all the crippin' I see. Blaming on my grandpa, all the hustling.
Yes, sir.